This is a video about my contribution to Blackthornprod's latest Pass the Game video. If you haven't watched that video, then you probably should, as it'll make this video make a lot more sense. But basically in this challenge, a game developer works on a game for a few hours, and then passes it on to the next developer with no communication in between them. I'm going to be the second person in this chain of devs. So I'm going to be given the very beginnings of a game, and then my task is to expand it. So opening up the game for the first time, I was both excited and intimidated. First off, the game already, with basic aspects, looks really pretty due to the unique being on a planet aspect of it. And there was already a lot going on here for me to build on. But the reason that I was kinda worried was because it's on a planet, and doing the map to rotate around a sphere can be really hard. I haven't brushed up on my trig lately, so that'll probably be an obstacle in the future. But anyways, the only game loop going on here seems to just be placing buildings and moving the planet around to dodge these UFOs that circle the planet. And I'm pretty good at dodging UFOs. Oh. There also seems to be a turret. It doesn't do anything, but it's trying its hardest. So I just started out by polishing up the already existing mechanics. Rotating the planet is kinda janky, so I tried making it so that you can click anywhere on the screen to drag it, which sort of improved it, but it still had issues. So I ultimately just pivoted to WASD controls. And with placing the buildings, they kinda had the issue as they still did their functions and can be sucked out before they're placed. So I fixed that, and now they only work after you place them down. But when it comes to expanding this game into a full-fledged experience, I needed to take some time to brainstorm. My first thought was that I could make it so that the sheep would just automatically come and then be gathered at the turret, and you would just have to defend them, which was a decent idea, but the pathfinding solution that is in the game for sheep really doesn't work all that well, especially whenever it's on the other side of the planet. And this is where the fact that this planet is a sphere that you walk on really becomes a problem. Trying to get the sheep to move around the planet is hard, because whenever you just have a flat surface, if you want to make something go somewhere, then you just point it at it and add a force. But in this case, that will point towards the planet. I get that there is probably some way to solve this, but I couldn't figure it out and I didn't want to spend too much time on it, so I pivoted to another idea that I thought might work better anyways. And so I laid out all my tasks that I had to complete in this Trello board, and it's time to get to work. So I started laying the groundwork for this new concept by making sheep into buildings. Well, sort of. Now they don't move and they can be moved around. It probably makes sense to add some idle movement to them later on, but right now I'm just focused on making them work. I also added a simple system so you can click on the sheep to drag them around, but you can also collect a wool from them, which will regrow. I think that allowing you to drag them should allow you to be a little bit more careful whenever dodging the UFOs, and when it combined with the planet movement, should make it a little bit easier to dodge, well, slightly easier. Then I made the wool fill up a big energy bar that I added. I guess this is made with static electricity or something. But next up was letting you use this electricity. So I decided to finally give the turret a sense of purpose. Basically, you get energy to charge the turret, and as long as it has enough energy and a target, it will count down this timer. And at the end of the timer, it shoots. This shooting was very basic to implement, and basically, I just had to find the oldest UFO in the hierarchy and do damage to it. All UFOs just take 2 hits to kill right now. And the system is not pretty, but it works. And after implementing this, it was time to make the project make a bit more sense to play, as it's pretty confusing right now. So first off, I updated the UI at the start to actually match the new controls and goal of the game. And then I also set up a sheep counter in the top right. This tracks how many sheep you have alive, but now I have to make it so you can get more sheep. Earlier, when I was planning out what I would make for the game, I had 2 main focuses: making an active game loop that you are always engaging in, and making some sort of long-term progression for you to work towards. I already pretty much finished that active game loop, with collecting the sheep's wool and dodging the UFOs, and then also shooting. But for long-term progression, I love roguelikes, although I've never actually made one. So I thought that it would be a good idea to draw from a roguelike that has been shaking up the industry, Vampire Survivors. If you haven't played it, then it's basically a pretty simple game where you walk around and kill increasingly immense amounts of enemies, using weapons that you get whenever you level up, and we're to replicate that leveling up system. So I simply made a system where you get XP from killing UFOs, and whenever you get enough XP, you level up. And I also set up some animation curves, which I'm not actually using for animation. Rather, these are the curves for the rate at which enemies spawn and the amount of XP you need each level. Using animation curves makes these values smoother and easier to balance for me and also hopefully future devs. Then I made you gain 1 more sheep each time you level up. So if you're keeping enough of them alive, the rate at which you get electricity increases as you level up. And after a bit, now the limiting factor of how fast the turret kills enemies is its reload speed. So the next part of leveling up was the fun part: upgrades. So I laid out an upgrade screen and then built the upgrade systems. I tried to make them easily expandable, so future devs can add more upgrades in the future if they want to. But I made 5 upgrades. You can stack these upgrades as much as you want to, but the first one just revives all your dead sheep. It's very helpful if you're bad, but if you're like me and super skilled, okay. Upgrade number 2 increases shoot delay of the turret by 25%, allowing you to utilize the extra energy that you get from more sheep to kill more UFOs. Upgrade 3 increases damage of the turret by 25%. And looking back, I wish that I had properly balanced these two. At first glance, they are exactly the same in power, but in actuality, the damage one is much preferable, as you don't actually have to have more energy from more sheep to utilize it. So I should have made the reload speed more like 30 and the damage more like a 20% increase. So hopefully one of the future devs will see this issue and fix it in some way. Upgrade 3 and 4 bring back the buildings from earlier. You can place down a bomb which damages UFOs it picked up, and you can also place down a new building I made, a shield that stops any sheep in its radius from being sucked up. It's great because it gives you a few seconds to relax. I can't do this anymore. So, these upgrades should add some more choice and strategy to the game, plus it could be fun to make some more unique ones in the future. I only had time for the basics right now. Oh yeah, and I also didn't have enough time to make icons. Well, I had a bit of time, but I thought that Steve's face was funnier and also a very obvious placeholder that people would be sure to replace. Probably. So I finished up with a bit of extra polish, adding the shooting particle to the turret and an explosion particle to the UFO. Then it was time to pack it all up and send it off. Overall, I was pretty happy with my work on this game. Honestly, it isn't the most fun to play right now, but I think that with some work, the systems that I added to the solid foundation I was given can become a solid experience. I can't wait to see the final game, and where the other devs take this project. Okay, I'm excited to see how the other developers took this project. So it looks like the UI got upgraded and it looks a lot nicer now. Let's see, it also mentioned something about grass. Okay, this is pretty much the same as what it used to be. And there's even more, wow. Okay, upgrade points. Okay, so now there seem to be 2 different ways to get upgrades. Okay, well, let's see. There are the sheep. Seems like this is pretty similar, it just looks quite a bit nicer now. So, I'm not really sure why you plant the grass. Oh, well, it fills up this bar over here. So I guess this is how you get upgrades now. They seem to be on fire. Not sure if there's a difference there. And it's, oh, okay. They're just all leaving. It's weird. I'm just gonna upgrade sheep. So I think I need a bit more, that way I can shoot faster. I don't know what rocket capacity means. I guess let's see. Oh. Take rocket damage. Ooh, gotta die. Oh, it's over there now. That's weird. I wonder what splash size means. I guess I'll get that one. And yeah, they definitely seem to be moving on the pause state. Seems to be a bug. Oh, and now we're at a new planet. Guess I'll do the same thing as earlier. Can't afford anything, but that still pops up. Get more damage, since I don't have to get more sheep for that. Fastest way to increase damage, I guess. So yeah, this structural integrity is coming down really fast. But also, you could just paint it over so quickly. I mean, I guess I could try to kill them. But they just increase at such a faster rate. As quickly as I can. There we go. There's a lot of nice particle effects and things going on. It makes the game look nice, and especially this one with the sheep coming out. Also, I guess I got rid of everything being destroyed by the UFOs. Which I guess makes sense, but also gets rid of the whole dodging part. That was pretty frustrating, so I can see why they took that out. We're about to die. Maybe? Maybe we're good? Ah. Well. Oh well. It's got a leaderboard though, which is kind of cool. Doesn't seem to be working. Oh well. So that was my kind of awkward reaction to playing the game for the first time. There's a lot that I love about the additions, like the new turret with the missile, all the polish and the UI upgrades, and the grass planting mechanic is cool. I feel like the big thing holding this game back though was just bouncing. And that's the hard part about trying to build your own little section of the game in 4 hours. Not all the mechanics meld together, and it can easily become chaos. And with this round of the project especially, the game started out more like a time management tower defense game, which is much more difficult to get feeling right than an action game. Nevertheless, I think it's really cool what the other devs have done, and I am proud of the part that I played in making the final game, which you can check out on itch.io. Thanks to Blackthornprod for organizing this challenge, and thank you to all the other developers for participating. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I have a main devlog series which I just released a huge video for. It's an action RPG with a unique battle system. Thanks for watching. Bye.